So today, as you know, okay, so I just got a message that we are recording. It's in progress. Thank you. So today we are going to be talking about creating an effective resume on LinkedIn. And much of what we learn today will be to remind ourselves, and also, it might be new stuff for some of you, but I feel that most of us might know, and it's stuff that you can apply to building a paper or a PDF-based resume. And as you may know, the world is changing. The job search and recruitment landscape is also rapidly evolving, and you are evolvers. I hope you know that, right? Yes, no. And I know that you're going to be able to pivot and evolve as rapidly, and you'll be able to ride the tides of change and not be overwhelmed. So we know a few years ago, LinkedIn was optional, but not anymore now. It's almost a mandatory tool that you have to have if you're to successfully make inroads into your industry or field. So I'm so excited to dive into this. But first of all, before I start sharing my slides, how many of us have a LinkedIn account or have heard of LinkedIn, or how many have used LinkedIn, whether your account is dormant or active? I'd like to see if you're able to shout out or say or type in the chat, whatever is comfortable for you. Yeah. Okay, Shan's on LinkedIn. Imani also uses LinkedIn. Hiela also does use LinkedIn. Okay, who else? Yes, everybody here. Wow. Who else are we waiting for? Queen, everybody here has access to LinkedIn or has used it, and I hope your accounts are not dormant, but but they're active. So anyway, we're going to start sharing the screen, and I'm going to share my presentation with you. And let me know if you can see this. And I hope you're all able to see this. Yes? Okay, I'm assuming that.
Yes.
Great. So we'll go ahead. So this is basically what it is, developing an effective resume and LinkedIn profile. And I give all credit to Michigan Technology University for this presentation that I used as a kind of to give me some structure and framework for presenting and bringing this to you guys. So LinkedIn is an online network for business professionals. It's different from other social networking sites because it's really designed for professional networking and for finding a job and connecting with potential business partners, employers, researchers, what have you, depending on the field or interest you have. And apparently 93% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to find their future employees. And I'm sure that that percentage is rapidly going up. And almost 100% use LinkedIn to screen applicants. So that is when a recruiter receives some applications, paper-based, email-based, they'll look at the application and then go over to LinkedIn to see if you are on LinkedIn and how your LinkedIn profile looks. So this is a very crucial tool for you to use and to harness and to make it work for your good. Queen, I hope you can see the messages. Just if there's any question, yeah, please feel free. I think I want this to be very participatory. If you have any question, just feel free to jump in and we can talk about stuff. It's a 30 slides, so we're not going to be gasping for time or air in this presentation. Okay, let's move on. So why should you be on LinkedIn? So like I said earlier, the landscape for job searching and recruiting is changing. And for you to get a job, almost it gives you an extra edge if you are on LinkedIn. And it's your job to make it easy for your recruiters or readers to hire you. And to do that, you need to tell them about how you can do the work they need you to do and what are the characteristics you have that they would feel would be their ideal employees. So LinkedIn gives you an initial stab at, just letting everyone know who you are and what you are and what are the qualities you bring. Second, with LinkedIn, you're also able to grow your professional network because you'll find people asking for connection requests And it's going to give you like this positive online presence where it can work for you in the future when you decide to change jobs or to be promoted or go to a different field altogether. It's good to have a network of people so that when people go to your LinkedIn profile, a recruiter will say, oh, she has all these connections. She's a very potentially resourceful person. So your resume must strike, and employers are especially impressed by your accomplishments that show, one, that you have a solid understanding of your own job qualifications and your work history, and that you have specific practical experiences that are relevant to the role you're applying for, and your ability to communicate your value concisely and confidently. So in LinkedIn, if you show that you can be very concise and straight to the point, then you're already winning marks with your potential recruiters or employers. And LinkedIn can help you convey this effectively when you use the various tools that it provides. So your profile is your online first impression. So you don't want a recruiter to go and look for you online and your LinkedIn is not, is shabby. You have to have a very good first impression. There are various priorities for LinkedIn. So you have the top fold. The top fold will really be at the banner of your LinkedIn profile, and it will contain your picture, maybe some and summary of your qualifications or your job title and all that. So we're going to go into that right now and see what the details look like. So as a start, you should create and edit your profile in LinkedIn. And when you're making any edits or creating your LinkedIn, you want to turn off the notification on your under the edit button. It's somewhere to the top right aspect of your screen. You're going to say do not publish to your networks. So you want to make sure that this is on no. So you can see here, there's your profile's public visibility can be on, or you can put it off. So you want to turn off all your notifications so that when you're making any corrections, every little change will not be popping up in other people's screens if they are connected to you. And this could be when you're trying to update your LinkedIn in the future. So you have to, like we said, you have to have a very nice first impression with a professional photo. Photos that show your face, full light on your face with a nice smile. Those are a must for LinkedIn. Research shows that profiles with pictures are 7 times more likely to be viewed by potential connections than those without a picture. And the image you present in your photo should communicate your credibility to the rest of your profile. Use as professional a headshot as possible. So you can see some examples of headshots. So very nice headshots on this, on the left. And then the other headshots on this side are kind of so busy. The background is, it's blurry. It's not clearly focused on the individual's face. You can see someone has sunglasses, and those are great for Facebook or Instagram, but not for LinkedIn. And I'm sure that most of you have this in order now that you're all using LinkedIn. So your headline, right after your name or your picture, you're going to be talking about your qualifications, what you do, if you're working with some company. So you have this space right underneath your headline, and you'll see the pencil icon right next to your picture or profile, to the top fold of your picture of your banner, that you can click on to modify how you present yourself. So you can see here on the right, someone saying they have a BS in mechanical engineering, Michigan Tech, manufacturing, new products, kind of saying a few of the things that would be keywords that a recruiter would be looking for in their field or industry, as opposed to saying what they were doing while they were job searching. They're doing like their dining services supervisor at Michigan Technical University, really a graduate. So try to just highlight what you're, bring it in bold, what you're interested in, increase your findability, and motivate your audience to keep reading the rest of your profile, and talk as if you're already in that space. Don't talk like this is what you're aspiring this or aspiring that. Just say, I am a manager, I am whatever it is that you envision yourself being in a few years' time. You want to put that in your headline. Okay, so showcase your specialty. So if you're on the editing mode, you want to click on the pencil that pops up next to your headline, like we said, and you can make changes and save. So you can see for me here, I say that I'm a medical doctor. Sorry, let me go back. I'm a medical doctor. I indicate that I'm an editor, I'm an author, I'm an implementation scientist, a public health practitioner, and also give some information on my location, where I'm based. And you can see on the right here that I will talk about my company that I work with and where I've had my university training. So the other important thing for you to do, it's not mandatory, but it's always nice to do it, is to customize your URL. And also to the top right of your page, when you're trying to edit your profile, there's a place where you can customize your URL and make it more professional and easy to be found by when you claim your vanity URL. One of the most important things to do to make it look friendly and usable is remove the numbers. So when you set up your profile on LinkedIn, it automatically gives you this URL that has so many digits and numbers, and it's just kind of clunky. But if you can go and edit it, so you can see at the bottom here, you can just delete all those numbers and leave a clean, nice, your name there, clean and nice, easy to find, easy to track. And it's something that you can also copy paste to your CV or to your email or whatever it is. Just have a nice clean URL. So in summary, I mean, so when after you have your headshot, you've got your top fold sorted out, you want to go into the next part of the next portion of your LinkedIn profile, which should be a compelling summary. So a summary is really a virtual handshake and a personal introduction to what you might have in a face-to-face networking opportunity, say over coffee. You want to use the same genuine voice that you use if you're telling your story. Make it personal, make it descriptive. Just tell the reader what you do and a little bit of why you're doing. So it's more of selling yourself, not telling. It's not selling, it's about telling. So you're not trying to be too flowery and too pompous, but you're just trying to be easy to connect with and tell your story. So the first paragraph of your summary, we could say it should be short and include that if you're looking for a job, how to contact you, or the job field you're interested in. And you have an example here, say I'm a chemical engineering graduate from such and such a place seeking a full-time job, something that's just more relevant to you. This is more tailored to a student, but you want to have a small opener that kind of gets straight to the point, and then how to contact you via email or phone. And one tip that LinkedIn has is considering to use a video resume or having an introduction. So you could take a video of yourself talking about yourself as you would in an interview and post that, so that someone has that ready to go. That gives you an extra edge. The next thing is having going to the second paragraph is having more detail about yourself. So you might want to start with your background and why you do what you do, why you're passionate about what you're doing without having to say you are passionate. Just say, have a story about your aha moment, something that you think would grab attention. So make it really good. The third paragraph would follow with what you're doing to follow your passion. Describe the highlights of your experiences and how it relates to your industry, whether you have been, in internship or enterprise work or connections or previous or current jobs. So just try to show that, yes, you have a passion, why you have a passion, what you do. And then in this third paragraph, you want to talk about your experiences and really bring the reader closer to you to understand what you've done. Ensure that you talk about what you've worked on, the problems you're trying to solve, and the goals you're trying to achieve. Include your scope, your challenges, your results. Anything that you add here that adds more material or knowledge about your experience will be helpful. And you can make this as two sentences or 4 sentences. It doesn't have to be too long. In the fourth paragraph, you want to talk about your extracurricular involvement. So this is icing on the cake. And it's nice to have a life and to also show it in a nice way. I mean, you don't want to go to extreme, show yourself partying on LinkedIn, but you can talk about your extracurricular involvement in your institution or within your community. Highlight any teamwork you've been involved in, if you've been in leadership positions, if you're in Girl Scouts, or if you have this NGO, nonprofit that you work for, you work with, or you support. Those are also nice things to do to show that you have a strong interpersonal and communication and organizational and collaborative skills. Then the last paragraph, if there is room, if you have room at the bottom, you can create a list of keywords that are relevant to your industry or your study or your field of study or research, whatever you are doing. So you want to say editorial, publishing. For me, I would say editorial work, publishing, research, science, scientific inquiry, or something of the sort, whatever it is, but make it, you know, what keywords kind of pop or pique your interest, so you can add those to your summary. So in summary, just additional tips for your summary. You want to write in the first person. I know sometimes it's easy to write in the second or in the third person, but I know this is something that I struggle with. And I had to kind of go back to my LinkedIn and rewrite it in the first person. So apply keywords carefully. Keywords are effective, but they need to be placed within the context of your story so that it outlines your experience. So you don't want to just throw keywords that are not meaningful, or keywords that do not directly relate or map onto your experience. You want them to be very well supported with what your qualifications are, what your experiences are. Next thing you want to do is have use numerous paragraphs. You can even have bullet points if you need to. This allows the reader to be able to segment the information you're giving them, and it's more readable than having just a large chunk of text, which is so difficult to digest, especially for a recruiter who's kind of screening and just glossing over various profiles. Again, just tell, no need to sell yourself. Avoid words or phrases that are peppered with marketing or highly, pompous speech. Just have good organized communication and let it be really chill, relaxed, and just a true summary or a true honest description of who you are and what your interests are. And then the last tip, and very important, is to keep revising your WhatsApp or your LinkedIn profile. I revised mine when I was preparing the slides. I mean, I just keep revising. You have to keep revising. Things will change, and your position might change. Some of the interests you have might change slightly. So you want to keep on. This should be a living. I think the takeaway here I'd say is this should be a living profile that keeps changing and adapting to the trends, the external trends. And when you see this is the way people are doing stuff, and this is what is of interest in your field, you also want to keep adapting it. And then ask someone else to read or review your profile. They might pick up some things that don't make sense, or things that they feel are too way out there and not really related to what you are trying to do, or the kind of job you're trying to attract. So do you have any questions up until there? If none, I will continue pushing on. So to your resume, you can add media in your summary section. So there are various opportunities to upload something. So you could have the video, you could have a picture, background. I like to have, there are 2 slots right under the top fold, which I use to upload like my latest papers, that whatever I've written and whatever I've edited, or really something that's my product, I will attach it and let it be one of the first things that the reader will see. So most readers can't spend the time reading your full profile, but once they're intrigued by what you're showing them, it might trigger them to kind of dig in and learn more about you. So these are some summaries of some examples of summaries that would be following right after the top fold. So you can have like a minute to read and see what this person is talking about. It's a very nice story. Are you able to see? I can give a few minutes, like a minute.
Yes,
or two.
yes, I can see.
Wow. Okay, so you can see that this is so personal. It's a nice story and it's very targeted, going to various personal experiences and accomplishments that would be mapping onto specific responsibilities that are required for the job this individual is applying for. It's nice. I mean, she talks about like her background. Don't talk about your childhood, they say, but it's a nice place to start kind of showing why her background has made her what she is. And this is another summary. And one thing you'll notice is that as you read this, this is very tailored to a Western type of recruitment industry. So very American, and it might not necessarily jive with someone else in a different part of the world. But the point is to make who you are come out very clearly and sharply, and to kind of show that that you are this person who's determined, you're this person who's done great things, both in the industry and in the community, and that you have characteristics or skills that would be valuable and cross-cut with the needs and responsibilities for the job you're looking for. And here's another one. And you can see right at the bottom of this one, they also take liberty to outline their strengths. They have customer relations, strong communication skills, ability to work in extreme environments, hands-on work with engines and all that. So when you talk about your experiences, because there's going to be a place you're going to talk about your professional or job experience, and it has to be, you have to start with relevance first. Don't list out your experiences in a chronological order, especially if it's not relevant. So you could have been a sales representative before you became an engineer. Please don't start with your sales representative job because you did it in 1996. Go straight to the most recent and most relevant experience you've had first. And then those are the experiences, you are a musician, you are a dancer, you are a fisherman or something. Those can come at the very end, and they don't have to be the first thing that clouds the whatever your recruiter is seeing. So include your company name, include a description of what you are doing. And we're going to talk about this description a bit more at the very end of this presentation, using the STAR method of presenting your experiences and what you've been able to achieve. And then you can add relevant or rich media when you are talking about experiences. So you can put like reports that you've written, you can put images of posters, or you can include videos. So just make it more visual and more engaging. When you talk about your education, also you want to start with your most advanced degree, and then as you progress to your first degree. So start with the university, which degree you hold, the graduation year, and you want to be specific about the field of study and the grade or class, if appropriate, because there's some fields like medicine that don't care about that, but I think maybe architecture or something might need you to talk about your class or grade. And then add any extracurricular involvement, including leadership opportunities you've had or held, and a description or can include your GPA, your field, or industry-related coursework if you're a student and moving out of the field, into the field, sorry. So for the rest there, after you've talked about your summaries, you've talked about your experiences, your education, there's a whole bunch of other sections, the more section, I say the M-O-R-E, more, that there are fields that you don't necessarily need to complete. They might not be directly relevant to your field, but they tell people more about you. You can tell people about where you've been volunteering, passions, and organizations that you belong to. These might be some of the things that showcase some commonalities you have between you and a potential employer. It might be a nice initial way of connection, like, oh, I go skydiving, and your recruiter is like, okay, I'm recruiting for a medical doctor for this, but then they see, oh, this person also skydives, and that can be a nice place to start connecting and just to kick things off. Move each section to location of your priorities. Again, think about the importance of everything you're putting to your reader. So as you talk about, yes, I went skydiving, you want to talk about how this shows how you're bold, you're courageous, you're adventurous, blah, blah, blah. So you don't want it to just be random stuff that, that doesn't add to your resume, but you want it in very subtle ways. It doesn't have to be overt. It has to be very subtle, that you're trying to relay something about yourself. And I see someone is trying to join. Give me a second.
I've admitted.
Okay, good. Yeah, it pops up on my screen. So many of these categories we have covered much higher in your profile. So you remember that you had this summary where you talked about all this stuff, and then like your fourth paragraph was about your extracurricular engagements. You can still list them out in the sections lower down. So other opportunities to think about are like honors and any awards that you've received, any honors, any awards you've received. Those are great to highlight if you are the outstanding student of the year or outstanding mentor of the year, whatever it is. If you have any global test scores that would be of interest, any patents you've had, any publications. So for me as an editor and as an author, I list my publications. As soon as I get one out there, I'm going to put it on my profile. So people will be seeing me alive and active on LinkedIn. So remember, in summary, our top profile priorities is your top fold should be your headline, which describes who you are, your specialties, have a professional photo, and then you have your portion for your summary. And in the first line, you want to tell the reader who you are, what you want, and how they can contact you. And then after that, tell them more about a story about yourself, what you do, why you do it, why you love it, and about your aha moment. And remember to describe the accomplishments you're most proud of, and make this, when you talk about your experiences, make this very functional, not chronological, include relevant work and projects, and describe your hands-on experiences and make you know that you can do the work. So just one other note about the summary, be very comfortable with your summary. Sometimes, and I've seen it, you know, in the American culture, people like to be very casual and to make it look like, you know, this is very low-key, but sometimes you meet people who want you to be slightly more formal. So it's a balance. You don't want to be too overly lax and then, you know, look come forth as floppy or sloppy. You want to kind of have a firm balance and just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. If your personality is to be very formal and official, don't try it. It becomes awkward when you try to be very, you know, playful or cheeky or something, or very relaxed. So just be what's natural for you. And so other points that you can use to boost your profile, and this is something that some people don't talk about, and it's something I learned through my organization. I mean, where I work right now, that you can have opportunities for building yourself professionally through LinkedIn Learning. So you'll see this icon, oh sorry. So there's this icon here that you'll see somewhere at the top right corner of your, or top right zone of your page, your LinkedIn profile page, and it takes you to LinkedIn Learning. It's a really nice resource for getting relevant training in your industry and just building your resume, your portfolio with LinkedIn. Some of the trainings are as short as 30 minutes to 1 hour, and you get certification there and then. For example, writing a press release. So it's something that I did, and I was so shocked that, okay, I went through all the videos, and before I knew it, I have a certificate on writing a press release. And it's just something nice to add, and something that people might see and think, oh, this is going to be relevant. So if your institution sponsors this, then you're great. Then that's great, because we have universities that can sponsor this. As long as you're affiliated to the university or the institution, when you go to your LinkedIn and they see that there's that connection, you're able to access some certain degree of training. And if you are not affiliated with a sponsor institution that will support this for you, then you can consider paying out of pocket if it's within your means. And the beauty about it, like I said, is LinkedIn will automatically add whatever you have been trained on to your profile, and once you complete the course. So I talked about, and this is the last, we are now to the last slides. We have 2 more slides to go, and then we can chat about any questions. The STAR resume or interview method is a very nice and organized way of sharing your history, the history of your achievements, any job responsibilities you had, and just concrete examples of how you excelled at your job and exceeded expectations. So it's a really nice structured way of, even when you have an interview, a face-to-face interview, when you use the STAR method, it kind of helps you situate yourself within what you need to tell your listeners or interviewers. So the first thing in the STAR method, STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So how do you tie this in together? So when you're told, please tell us about your work at such and such a hospital, you want to talk about the situation that you were handling in that hospital. You are the lead manager of this and that, and what challenges, for example, did you face on a day-to-day basis that you had to deal with? And then your task is, now that you had this challenge, what were the tasks that you needed to be involved in? What were your responsibilities and goals to overcome this challenge? And then we're going to talk about the action that you took specifically to achieve this task. How did you contribute to your team's effort? And then finally talk about the result. What is the outcome of your actions, and how did it benefit your company? And can it be quantified? Do you have even a report or something to show for that action? So these are some bullet points, that showcase what I'm trying to say. So your STAR statement can be a single bullet point for each work experience that you have, or it could be multiple bullet points, or it could be a combination of various components of the STAR. So you can see here the first box to the left is a single STAR bullet point, where this is an Uber driver. So the driver says they've completed 5,000 plus Uber passenger trips during COVID-19 by adhering to guidelines and providing hand sanitizer to ensure customers felt safe and at ease, resulting in a 5-star rating from January to December 2020. So this guy is talking about STAR, is the S is the situation. So his situation is that he was an Uber driver and he had to complete maybe a specified number of passenger. So he's an Uber driver ferrying passengers. What is the task? The T is the task. So he wants to ensure that he adheres to health guidelines and provides safety to the rider. You can tell that. What was his action? His action is that he provided hand sanitizer to the customers. And what is the outcome? The outcome or the result was that the customers felt safe and at ease, and this resulted in a 5-star rating. So something that he can quantify. The next box talks about a marketing manager's star statements. So what was the situation and task for this individual? Their situation was that they were marketing manager for some multinational company, say, and they created daily check-in schedules and weekly Zoom meeting agendas to manage a team of 18 marketing associates and creatives. So what's the situation here? They were managing a team of this many associates and creatives. And the task was to create a daily check-in schedule and weekly Zoom meetings or agendas. What was the action? They supervised the launch of 24 new campaigns for some Shopify website, which increased the revenue by 93% and met all key performance indicators from Q1 through Q3. So you can see it's not a must that the the situation, task, action, results come in that order. They can actually be interchanged, but the point is that you get to touch on each and every one of those aspects. So you could be saying that you are a manager, you did this task, this was result, and this was the action that you took to get that result. So you can mix it up. It doesn't have to follow that sequence. And then finally, you see the box to the right says, this is now when you have more than two bullets. So your situational task is to complete 5,000 plus Uber passenger trips during COVID time in such and such a situation in San Francisco, in San Jose. And what is your action? Your action is that you provided hand sanitizer and extra face masks to 20 to 30 customers a day, and to ensure that they felt safe and at ease. And what is the result? Result is you obtained a 5-star rating from January 2020 to December 2020. So this is a nice thing to include in your resume, paper resume, PDF resume, or if you're going to LinkedIn and you're talking about your experiences and you're talking about the various places you've worked, you can easily just put this in a nice line in 2 or 3 bullet points and indicate that you have the capability and skill to really follow through your tasks and responsibilities. And with that, I close the presentation. I mean, my presentation, but I'm happy to receive any questions. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry if I missed any question that came through the chat. I was not looking or manning the chat box. Sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will we be able to get, or will you be sharing like a copy of this PowerPoint? Because some of the things I wanted to like try to take a picture of, as far as like the way certain the bullets were organized.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was awesome because it gave me some things to rearrange my LinkedIn profile, to change some of my experiences, and just make sure you're updating it very frequently.
Yeah. I personally have LinkedIn on my desktop. Like it's almost the first thing I see every day. Yeah, so the slides can definitely be shared, and Queen is actually recording this session, so you'll be able to get the recording, and I can also post I can upload the slides to the Queen. You'll advise me how you do this.
Yeah, it's fine. You can share the slides on the Evolve WhatsApp group.
Okay.
They would also I would also share the link to the recording.
Perfect.
Yeah. And thank you. I really learned a lot.
Great. I'm glad I was able to share something impactful. The other thing I forgot to say about LinkedIn is that there's the messaging box, so you can really you make sure you look at your messages, your inbox, your notifications. You might see some highlights on potential job advertisements in your field of industry based on the keywords you put. And also recruiters will be emailing you on will be texting you through LinkedIn if they're interested in your profile. So it's good to really have an eye on your LinkedIn. One other thing I found that is very helpful is to have the app on my phone. So I found that there would be a delay between me responding to recruiters and between recruiters reaching me and me responding to them, and mainly because I don't have my computer on all the time. So if you're actively searching for a job and you really need to get a job within some certain time frame, then you want to have the app on your phone, and it should be active or allowed to ping you when you have notifications, when you have a message from a recruiter or potential network, potential person in the field you want to network in. Yeah. Any other questions? Any points to share about that could be your experiences that you think we can learn from? I'm sure that now that everyone here has a LinkedIn profile, active or not, you can share some experiences you've had, just like 1 or 2 experiences before we close. We have like 10 more minutes, I guess. And I'm happy to give back those 10 minutes to you if you need them.
Okay, I have a question though, like as a new LinkedIn, let's say LinkedIn member or something, how do you grow your connect? How do you, yeah. And then must you like put out posts regularly? Just, yeah, so how do you grow your connect? How do you get people to start sending you messages or asking you to connect with them?
Oh, that's very wonderful. It's an awesome question. I almost feel like the more you use your LinkedIn, that's the first thing. You have to use it. You have to use it and keep updating it. And you could be the first person to start reaching out to people. If LinkedIn will always show you potential connections. So it'll say, oh, you are working for this company or you're in this field. You might be interested in this and that, or in connecting with this person. So that could be the first thing, that you'd be the one going to them. I'm trying to think of my experiences that I also asked people to connect with me on LinkedIn. So if I know other people who've been on LinkedIn for a while, I tell them, please, can you be a connection, or ask me for an invitation, ask for a request to be connected to me. So that's one other thing. Connect with, so you take the first stab at it, request those connections. The other thing is, once you are out there, you can look at posts that are interesting to you and you can resend them or repost them if they're interested into you, and learn. And then if it's something that you're interested in, you can also put a comment on that post and say, yeah, I totally agree, this is, and then just say something relevant to that post. And that way you're not the one who's trying to think through everything. You can, it's not a huge responsibility. You're kind of, you know, taking advantage of someone else's thread. So that's one way. And then also, when you do big things for your job, for your personal development, feel free to shout it out on LinkedIn. Say, I am so excited, I'm thrilled to be graduating with my master's in the middle of a pandemic. This is so, you know, this is just an awe-inspiring moment for me. Yeah, so feel free to talk about that and let people congratulate you. I think that's how you start building your profile. And then also, when you put your LinkedIn details in your email, in your letters, if you're having your CV, just put those URL and to your LinkedIn profile. So it's like out there. If you're on Twitter, you can also have your LinkedIn somewhere under your header. Just have it there so that people have very fluid access to it.
Okay, thank you.
And then what was the other question? I feel like I've forgotten the other question. How to grow. Did I answer 2 questions in one?
Yeah, I was saying, do you need to put out posts regularly?
Oh, no. I don't think you need to. Let it be relevant. Sometimes also putting out too many posts, it makes people wonder, what are you doing? You should be, or at least that's what I think. Like,
okay.
It should be in moderation, make it very, and even if it's once a month or something, just make it impactful, make it something that's meaningful and not just noise. Let it be something that has weight. I know there are people who spend their lives on LinkedIn because of their job, or maybe they're recruiting or stuff like that. So just let it be relevant to you and let it be meaningful to you, so that you're not just forcing yourself to speak when you don't have to. Sometimes silence makes you look wiser.
Thank you.
I see I have a question in the chat. Okay, thank you, Tolu. Thank you. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yep. And I think we don't have any more questions.
Yeah, no questions are coming in. We have 4 more minutes to go. Evolvers, please ask your questions now if you have any.
I think the evolvers
Or they're just waiting for the slides.
They're waiting for the slide, but they've also been they're very familiar with LinkedIn, so I totally understand that sometimes it's
Okay.
we're very familiar territory for us, so we're not really, yeah. But I'm going to post this. I've taken a screenshot here of just me, my smiley face, and everyone's cameras off. Yeah. Okay. I'll post it on the WhatsApp. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna give you back 4 minutes of your day, and thank you so much for engaging and for being here today. It's really an honor again, and just remember that